Greetings and salutations, one and all. Welcome to the night shift. Happy hump day to you. How you doing? It's another Real Talk Wednesday. And I welcome you all to the night shift right now. Big ups to you, each and every one, wherever you're logged in from and whatever means you're logged in. Tune in radio, the night shift to DJ Kevin Stew, rockthebox.net, Foundation Radio Network, One Harmony Radio. Good top of the morning to you guys over there across the pond. Big ups to you. Glad to have you. Couldn't do it without you, and I promise you I wouldn't even try. All those who are locked in on PEMGTV.com, big ups to you. Welcome to the show. And of course, the home of the night shift right here, KevinStew.com. I welcome you. And listen, open invitation. The stew pot is there. Water is always fine. Come on in.
Look back now. Real back now. Here back now. Ooh, yeah. Only she just calling me. Say she have a piece of waste that could blow me away. Yeah. Through the arrows, through the gun. Anyway, she is a dance, but go and perform. Yeah, yeah. But look the girl there, and she don't like it when I staring on and on. She know I want less, and I go chance it, but afraid I get caught out. I want to take a wine on your bummy, girl, right there. I see me, girl, right there. Your body calling me. Gosh, I wanna hold and jam on your bummy, girl, right there. I see me, girl, right there. Your body enticing me. Oh yeah, yeah. You're teasing me, but I had to watch you. You're teasing me. I really wanna wine on you, girl. You're teasing me, but I had to watch you, girl. Yeah, you're teasing me, but all I could do now is just act normal, just act normal, just act normal. Yeah, yeah.
Kicking it off with some new music from Leon Caldero.
Normal, just act.
It's called Act Normal.
Ooh, yeah. Every time she call me phone, it's a bacchanal involving big stone.
Of course, you know me.
Yeah, anytime
What is normal?
make her just watch me like she wants start to cry. Yeah, yeah. She always want me, and she ain't bluffing and afraid. She real bad, yeah. But I real want less, and I go chance it once. She ain't catch me running down woman. I want to take a wine on your bummy, girl, right there. I see me, girl, right there. Your body calling me. Gosh, I wanna hold and jam on your bummy, girl, right there. I see me, girl, right there. Your body enticing me. Oh yeah, yeah. You're teasing me, but I had to watch you. You're teasing me. I really wanna wine on you, girl. You're teasing me, but I had to watch you, girl. Yeah, you're teasing me, but all I could do now is just act normal, just act normal, just act normal. Yeah, yeah. Just act normal, just act normal, just act.
I want to say thanks to Pulse Media Group for sponsoring this segment of the show.
Just act normal, just act normal,
When being in the moment is priceless.
just
Give them a call, 754-999-6020, or visit them online, pulseemg.com.
normal,
They can make your event
just act normal,
be priceless.
normal, just act normal,
So if you want to just capture a moment,
normal,
or you want to stream that moment and share it,
just act
you want to do something like I'm doing right here
normal,
on Pulse Media Group. Yeah, you're watching me right here, right now.
normal,
Just give them a call.
normal, just
There's a number, 754-999-6020. Give them a call and tell them DJ Kevin Stew sent you.
just act normal, just act normal.
And when you call, just Act normal.
Normal. Ooh, yeah. I want to take a wine on you for me, girl, right there. I say me, girl, right there. Your body calling me. Oh, gosh, I wanna hold your man, you for me, girl, right there.
I wanna say big ups to those in the pot.
Your body enticing me.
Reggae music editing extraordinaire, Mr. Marlon Burrell. Big ups to you, bro.
But I had to watch you. You're teasing.
Thank you for that walk down memory lane.
Yeah, you're teasing me.
For the tributes. Welcome 198. Just act normal when you come in here. Here, it's a judgment-free zone. So if there's anywhere that you can be normal, anywhere that you can be your true self, it is right here. I know some people going, wait, hold on. True self? Without judgment? Yeah. But you have to know who you are first. That right there, my friends, is the key. Tonight, in Real Talk, we're adding to what was started last week. And to some, it's going deeper into the rabbit hole. To others, it's the opening of the eyes a little bit wider. Either way, we're on a journey. And that is why you see at the top of the page on kevinstew.com, having acceptance through enlightenment. Because it's one of the things that we strive for. Now, tonight we're talking about the subject of monogamy. And this comes from last week when we started by asking the question, who came up with wedding vows? Now, this, of course, is as a result of the whole B. Smith issue, which you notice nobody's talking about this week. Yeah, it was last week's news, literally. Nobody talking about B. Smith this week. Because something else has grabbed their attention. Because we're people of short attention spans. We're children. Doesn't really matter how old you are. We're children. Children have short attention spans. That's what we are. It's the newest craze that grabs our attention each time. And if that craze is not swinging, then nobody is pitching. You better leave because normal is not what you're looking for. It depends on what you call normal. What do you consider normal to be? And that is the first question. But it's not the first question for tonight's topic. Now, the mystery of monogamy is really the first thing to consider for tonight. Why some people are more promiscuous than others, nobody knows. And the mating strategy a person chooses, whether settling down with a long-term mate or flying in for an evening, things like that tells a lot about a person as well as a society. And that's just how it is, you know. Things in society influence a whole lot of our actions. Some people prefer to have long-term sexual relationships with a single partner. In rare cases, that can mean one partner for life. Other individuals, not finding fulfillment in monogamous lifestyles, increasingly seek out new partners. At this opposite extreme are the likes of, and some people may frown on it, the likes of Wilt Chamberlain. He claims to have slept with 20,000 women. More power to you, Wilt. Most people typically accumulate several partners over their lives, their lifetime. And in between there, you have periods of settling down. Both men and women struggle with the contrary instinctual urges to mate often or to secure a quality mate. Social mores typically aim to lessen the strife that can result from unchecked sexuality. Without trying to simplify a complex situation too much, there's a basic tension between biology on one side and society on the other. And this is what psychologist Tom Smith said. Biology simply wants a male and a female to mate together and the female to become pregnant. That is all biology wants. Society, however, wants to perpetuate themselves. Smith is the director of principal and the director and principal investigator of the widely cited General Social Survey, the GSS, conducted by the National Opinion Research Center at the University of Chicago. And this gauges sexual attitudes and behaviors. Now, men and women start and stop relationships for different reasons. Or not necessarily different, but various reasons. From a biological perspective of passing genes on to the next generation, human males and females appear to be at cross purposes whenever it comes to sex. I'm not too sure why. The amount of children that can be produced by a woman is much more limited than the number a man can father. If she has 100 partners, it is not going to dramatically increase the number of children she has. Hopefully. Usually, no more than one egg at a time is available in a woman's uterus for fertilization. A resulting pregnancy lasts 9 months, during which time sex cannot yield more children. In contrast, males can ejaculate repeated loads of millions of sperms in a given day. Any one of those sperms can father a child. Well, can make a child. Let's not use father. A woman has to invest far more in her child than the father does. Basically, in every society, the prime parenting responsibility is put on the mother. Most obvious is that of nursing. Before animal milk was supplied in place of human milk, it was absolutely essential to have a nursing mother for a child. When women often sought a support system for them and their young, having a faithful spouse is one way, or a sisterhood of relatives, and many societies do both. Now, keeping couples faithful is at the root of many societal laws and customs that attempt to promote childbearing while curbing sexual desire. You have all these formal and informal things trying to keep this strong natural force under control. Because society learned way back in prehistory that this was something they needed to regulate, because it had the potential to cause all kinds of problems. Smith gave examples of jealous spouses and cockcockled husbands, as well as fathers who did not believe they were the parent of their partner's child and wanted to kill that offspring. Such situations didn't benefit tribes or larger societal organizations. So there's no such thing as a free love society, as according to Smith. There's no primitive or tribal society that doesn't have rules. Some have fairly loose rules, but most have developed strict rules. They find it best for the perpetuation of the society. Therefore, adultery, the breaking of sexual exclusivity, has long been viewed as a moral wrong. Throughout much of history, adultery even stood as a legal wrong in accordance with major religions. Remember, we talked about religions this morning on the morning show. Yeah, that's what happens when Sir Rockwell doesn't lock the studio doors. People will come in and infiltrate the morning show. Moving on. Marriage, then, has unsurprisingly emerged as a global practice. Usually, by definition, a marriage between two partners entails, of course, monogamy. When someone has multiple marriages, the parental lines of responsibility tend to be kept clear, even in polygamous harems. One usually prosperous man with many spouses. Yeah, in a harem. Even if it's mentally prosperous. Yet, cheating occurs. According to the best estimates available from studies, Smith says that 3% to 4% of currently married people in the US have a sexual partner besides their spouse in a given year. Those are the ones that admit it. Overall, about 15 to 18% of ever married people have had a sexual partner other than their spouse while married. Now, this statistical information does support the idea that infidelity is not epidemic, despite how frequently affairs are made to seem in pop culture. But the tabloids do seem to have one thing right. It is assumed. They believe that men cheat more than women at a rate of about 2 to 1. And this is according to the survey. And this infidelity aligns with the biological arguments of men wanting to sow their seed, while women want to have better potential fathers and providers. Now, in recent decades, marriage as an institution has declined. And it's because a lot of the institutions are being shut down. While premarital sexual activity and the age when one enters into the first marriage have increased. So, sociologists offer a number of societal reasons, from the sexual revolution of the 1960s to modern technologies like internet opening up broader avenues of sexual selection and temptation. Now, taken together, people on average now have more partners between the sheets than they used to. Now, how true that is, I'm not sure, because we're learning, or the information has been getting out there easier. But has the numbers really changed? GSS statistics starting back in 1989 show an average of 7 partners in an adult's lifetime, trending to about 9 by 2002. Another way of looking at adults' single or multi-partner oriented lifestyles is revealed by the number of sexual partners over a 5-year span. Now, sex often brings with it confusion about what the partner ultimately seeks in terms of a relationship. A sexual encounter occurs, and one partner assumes it has meaning and endurance, and the other partner never assumed that from the beginning. It's just, hey, we're just gonna do this and get going and take care of that itch. Let me scratch it, kind of a deal. But even confirmed bachelors or purposefully single women can have their ways changed. And that's just the way it is. So, are we naturally monogamous, or is it a learned behavior? Are we monogamous or polygamous? And that is another relevant question. How about the fact that if monogamy is so natural, then why is it so hard? Two things we need to understand in humans. One, the traits selected for an organism by evolution doesn't always make the organism happy. The traits that evolve in a population are the ones that are the best at getting genes passed on to the next population, not the ones that make the body of those genes the happiest. And whatever traits gets genes into the next generation, that is the trait that wins. The success of selfish genes, ever heard of them? Selfish genes. Remember that. Not only comes at a cost to others, but it is not uncommonly gained at the expense of the health of that body in which those very genes reside. What? Okay, don't worry. We're getting into it. Saxon Lynn, Sex at Dusk, lifting the shiny wrapping from Sex at Dawn, create space on page 306. You'll find pretty much all that information. If you can get your hands on that, or you can look it up and check it out. The second thing is that the evolutionary goals of males and females in any species are opposed to each other in almost every species. This results in something called sexual conflict. So, sexual conflict is not what happens in the bedroom between two individuals. Okay? Basically, the problem is this. Females have a fixed amount of eggs. They want to ensure the best matches possible for those eggs. Males, theoretically, unlimited sperm. So, their goal is to spread as far and as wide as possible. Basically, that's how it goes. Now, these two facts lead to a lot of unpleasant evolutionary traits that are good for the genes. But guess what? They're bad for the bodies that house those genes. Female anglerfish are much larger than their male counterparts. When they mate, the male anglerfish fuses with the female body, becoming little more than a set of testes attached to the female. That's the size difference. And many female spiders bite the head off their males while mating. The other head, the one with the brain. Well, how to explain that away? I can't. So they just bite off the head of their mates, basically. And it's not foreplay. It's an error in thought to assign emotions to non-human species, though, because we have no reason to believe that they have feelings like humans do. But if they did, well, I guess their feelings are that they don't want to be decapitated by their lover. Would you? Dying after mating is not something that would make anybody really happy. And as we talk about human evolution, we need to keep in mind that what is natural for a human is not necessarily always what will make them happiest. And on that note, I would say we're going to take a break. Because when we come back, we need to continue this conversation. We need to take a break. Get water, get notepad, call some friends, tell them to come on over. It's a night shift to DJ Kevin Stew. 773-789-STEW gets you in touch. 773-789-7839. Or you can jump into the stew pot. Come join us. We're kicking it. Again, it's judgment free. So if I say something and you agree with it, you can say, hey, listen, I agree with that. Or if you disagree, feel free. Stu, nah, that doesn't fly with me. However, I do request that you tell me why you agree and why you don't. And again, this is a request, so you don't have to. It's not a requirement. It's a request. But all in all, come on over. Let's talk. It's a night shift. And we're asking the question, is monogamy natural? We'll be right back.
Policy Media Group, innovative streaming and recording, has done it again. A new way to get your business in full view of your neighborhood consumer through AdShare TV. It's available in your neighborhood today. It's easy. Just call us 754-999-6020. Become a host today and place a TV monitor in a strategic location so it's easy to see. Get a 1-minute video ad or longer that plays anywhere in our network. Can't be a host? No problem. For a few dollars, we'll run your 30-second video ad. A host can run announcement specials like buy one get one free or discount ads. Let's turn your flyers into a 30-second video with music or a voiceover, or let us create and run your video ad with a spokesperson. Take advantage of our early enrollment discount. Join us today. Your ad will be seen at least 30 times per day in your AdShare TV neighborhood. It's easy. Just call us 754-999-6020. AdShare TV, part of Policy Media Group.
Are you crazy about the music industry? You aspire to hit it big in music? Or maybe you've sweated out a soulful killer beat and are now stuck finding it's not as easy as it looked. Oh, but it can be easy for you with JTMC. We've been there. We know how it feels. So we solve challenges like production, promotion, marketing, branding and development, and more. With over 30 years of experience, JTMC is a one-stop shop for artists. We handle your graphic design, writing services, PR, as well as event planning, e-blasts, artist management, and bookings, so also your website and social media needs as well. We're experts in using creativity to persuade audiences on behalf of artists, drawing on our diverse experience to create projects that connect with audiences intellectually and emotionally. Artist success is everything to us, and our years of experience and commitment will be behind you for every one of your needs. If you've got music for the world to hear, whether you're a new or established artist, visit us at jtmcenterprise.com.
Roll out with Island Rock Music and have fun. Check out the quality apparel at islandrockmusic.com. Designed for you and your crew. Hear the music, feel the breeze, with selected tracks and more. Available now from the online store at islandrockmusic.com. islandrockmusic.com. Log on today and ride with us.
Stepping, these are roots vibrations. Stepping.
Matthew 28:19 says, "Go ye therefore and teach all nations." With this in mind, and encouragement received during a South Florida media conference, The Church Links was birthed. The Church Links is an interdenominational worship service portal for churches, providing the tools to spread the word through technology in a cost-effective way. The Church Links, www.dahchurchlinx.com. Your links to worship and praise.
I'm in almost every school bus and classroom. You see me around the neighborhood and you tell me that I'm a pretty good kid. Well, I'm one out of every 5 children in America, and I'm struggling with hunger.
Please visit feedingamerica.org today and find your local food bank for ways to help.
Every dollar you donate helps provide 8 meals for kids like me. We are Feeding America, brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
It's Christina representing for DJ Kevin. You see me, I say, I don't know the boss. You see me, I say, DJ Kevin's Stew and the night shift radio show. Yo, it at the thing, turn up the thing loud. Wow, DJ Kevin's Stew at the heart of a champion. Never underestimate, just choose him. The silver line behind the dark clouds. DJ Kevin's Stew, believe him, and that's no doubt. Salute the night shift radio show, Christina. It's a hot it up, loud.
DJ Blade.
Baby girl, baby girl, baby girl, girl, I really, really need you in my world. I need you, girl, are you me wanting to be arms? Leave me and you will never ever part. I need you, girl, are you me needing to be arms? Leave me and you will never ever part. I need you by my side. I need you right now. I don't want to waste no time. 'Cause baby girl, I'm yours. I wanna be with you. You want me and I want you. So tell me what we gon' do. 'Cause baby girl, I'm yours. Baby girl, I need you now, no, 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 no. And girl, I wanna take you down, 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 down. And I don't wanna leave, no, not even for a second. Me I tell you, girl, my body, you feel the pan. Me body, you're the shield, and your body, you're the weapon. You are the right one, my son, girl, up on the left hand. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I need you by my side. I need you right now. I don't want to waste no time. 'Cause baby girl, I'm yours. I wanna be with you. You want me and I want you. So tell me what we gon' do. 'Cause baby girl, your body great. Me I tell you, say your body great. You hear me, know you get it every day. So tell me what you say. Come here, make me take you on a date. 'Cause anytime you see you, me amaze. I want you to get the long run. Girl, I won't give you the wrong one. Anytime you need me, baby, just call me, girl, and I'll give you the long one. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I need you by my side. I need you right now. I don't want to waste no time. 'Cause baby girl, I'm yours. I wanna be with you. You want me and I want you. So tell me what we.
The sound of King Charles.
'Cause baby girl, I'm yours.
The track is called By My Side.
Need you. I don't wanna leave you. Give me all your love. I'm gonna give you the same things, the same things. Oh, girl, I need you by my side. I need you right now.
I want to say thanks to GMAT Music Solutions for sponsoring this segment of the show.
'Cause baby girl, I'm yours. I wanna be with you.
You want equipment for your event? Go ahead, get him a call.
What we gon' do?
754-307-GMAC.
Girl, I'm yours.
754-307-4622.
I'm yours.
I'm yours also.
Baby girl.
Yeah, you, baby girl over there. I'm yours. 392, welcome to the show. Glad to have you. Couldn't do it without you. Believe me, I wouldn't try. Alright, so again, 773-789-STEW gets you in touch. 773-789-7839. Numbers to call, numbers to text. That get you in touch with us here on a night shift. The stew spot is also available, not the stew spot, the stew pot, on kevinstew.com. It's what others call a chat room. If you're new, it's where we interact. Okay? Cool. So we're talking about this right here that you see as a topic. Is monogamy normal? Is it natural? And one answer given is yes. It is natural for humans. But in the case of us humans, really, monogamy doesn't mean sexual desire that is limited to one person. Well, humans evolved to be socially monogamous. Meaning, we choose one partner with which we pair bond, while retaining a desire for other sexual partners. But here's the thing. We evolved to desire other sexual partners while keeping our bonded partner from having other sexual partners at the same time. That kinda sounds selfish, doesn't it? Not kinda. It is very selfish. And which of the we's is that? We want to copulate with other sexual partners, but at the same time we feel intense jealousy and possessiveness over our bonded partners. Essentially, humans evolved to be cheaters. The monogamous animal is one that spends most of its time with one mate but is not entirely faithful. Most monogamous animals will, on occasion, mate with a stranger. Humans are not the only creatures that evolved this way. Tiki monkeys sleep with their tails curled together with their pair-bonded partner. Cute, don't you think? However, they evolved to do this to keep their partner away from other mates, not because they're also in love. So, we evolved to be socially monogamous because human babies are particularly helpless. They require 2 humans, or more, dedicated to just raising them. And this is due to their high caloric needs and the fact that they need to be carried in the arms of the mother and nursed for a very long time. But pair bonding evolved in humans for other reasons also. Pair bonding made male competition for mates a much less violent affair. Most primates exist in small groups led by males due to male conflict. Monogamous pair bonds allowed ancient human males to coexist peacefully. The families of the pair-bonded partners came together as a band. The group working together was able to gather many more resources than just 2 individual humans traveling together. Polygyny, the practice of one man having multiple bonded female partners, has most of the benefit of monogamy. But since a minority of males are getting a majority of the females in this system, it leads to increased male-to-male conflict. In addition, each female gets a smaller slice of the male time and resources, leading to female-to-female conflict. And this probably contributed to females leaving the male harem to find an additional male who would stay dedicated to just her. Now, why do we have trouble with it though? Because at the same time, individual humans were still under evolutionary pressure to find the best mate. The only one that will produce the best offspring. And when sexual candidates pair off into monogamy, the best mates can become unavailable. This way, the way this plays out for males and females is slightly different. For females, the best thing to do is to get a worse male bonded and committed. That is, bring in meat or other resources, then sneak off and make sure the male is the actual father of her offspring. The additional males may also provide gifts and resources like the primary male, further providing for the female survival. Sound familiar? Now, for men, of course, the goal is simply to sleep with as many females as possible, taken or not. Many people report being turned on by sexual novelty. This is called the Coolidge effect, a neologism that is based on a fictional story about President Coolidge. Predictably, it's stronger in men than in women, but still present in women. Some monogamous partnerships among primitive humans were lifelong, but it's just as likely that they were serially monogamous. What do we mean? Well, switching partners after each breeding period. Around 4 years for a primitive human child to reach maturity. So, after 4 years, boom, you get switched out. So, in addition to keeping an eye out for additional sex partners, males and females also kept an eye out for their next bonded partner. I guess this is one of the reasons why people would argue that marriage licenses should have an expiration date. So what this means is that no one can moralize about the right way for humans to be. No one can stand on a pedestal and say polyamory is the natural way to be, or humans are meant to be monogamous. The natural way, the one we evolved for, is the best case scenario, a string of multi-year relationships with children scattered behind you like detritus. And the worst case scenario is chronic betrayal. Now, this presents a problem for modern humans. We don't want to be cheaters. Those of us who want to make monogamous commitments want to keep those commitments happily. Those of us who want to be non-monogamous or polyamorous want to do so in a way that causes everyone involved happiness, not pain. But our evolutionary history drives us to be cheaters, giving us the mutually incompatible feelings of jealousy and possessiveness in a relationship, while also driving us to feel penned in by monogamy. This now is compounded by the fact that the pressures that selected for abandonment and betrayal are not even present in the West anymore. The primary reason people in the West have sex is to reproduce. Is not to reproduce, but to bond with other people. Or just enjoy the physical sensations of sexuality. The instinctual pressure on men to notch their belt and on women to rope in a man are anachronistic with mass-produced birth control in our society. Women's rights, adoptions, and artificial insemination also play a part. And what is even more is we don't have the same fixation with passing on genes that wild animals or primitive humans did, or that they do. Wild animals still have that instinct. People in the West don't make passing on their genes a priority. Humans often choose not to have children or to foster or adopt children that don't share their genes at all. Like in so many other things, we find ourselves in a modern world with pressures and goals or instincts just are not prepared for. What we need to do is, instead of appealing to what's natural for our bodies, we need to decide what's best for our bodies. That's a thought. So, basically, the first thing to do is to accept whatever we choose. There is going to be a trade-off. If we choose to be monogamous, we are choosing to deal with the pangs of sexual urges left unfulfilled. If we choose to be serially monogamous, we are choosing to deal with the fact that we are always going to be managing a train of people who come in and out of our lives. And if we choose to go with polyamory, we're going to deal with jealousy. If we choose to be single, we're going to deal with loneliness. So, what do we choose? Celibacy? If you were tuned in this morning to the morning show, then you'd get that. There is flexibility within these options. You can choose to be monogamish, or to have a closed polyamory network. You may decide flirting with someone is alright, but not sealing the deal. Whatever configuration you choose, there are going to be trade-offs. There's no perfect option without emotional turmoil. And this right there is the choice our biology has left us. The second thing to do is to accept that not everyone is going to want the same thing. Of course, we are not all cut from the same cloth. We all are, but just different parts of it. Some people find monogamy to be sexually boring and stifling. Others feel that they can only fully express their sexuality in the context of an exclusive partnership. Now, the degree to which people have an extra peer mating urge will vary between individuals. Just like sexual orientation and sex drive does, it varies. In addition, cultural influences work on humans in the way they don't on other species. And the way we grow up will almost certainly have a permanent effect on our attitudes about the things and these particular things in our adulthood. So, what then should we do? Well, essentially, the answer to that question is different from everybody, with each person. There is no one size fits all kind of a thing. And we have to really, at the end of the day, figure out what works for us. Now, when you figure out what works for you, it would be nice if you share it with me. Because I believe that most of us are still on that journey. If not, good for you. But are you saying that you're not on that journey? In saying that you're not on that journey, are you being true to who you are? Are you being true to yourself? Or is that just something that you've decided to go with because it's easy?
Try to run the track when you're ready. If I love, I live for your love. Daily battles I rise above. I live for your love.
This is the real storm.
Love. I live for your love.
That's the title of the track, Live for Your Love.
I live for your love. The dirty tough and the beer check maga. But me push it for your liquor harder, the data. Stand firm, ever holding the order. Straight from Spain to Jamaica, Asa. Always try to do better. Be a go-getter. Keep job beside you throughout stormy weather. Take every measure. I am the treasure. You gotta feel this truth. I live for your love. I live for your love. Daily battles I rise above. I live for your love. Your love. I live for your love. Jah, I live for your love. I live for your love. I live for your love. Ethiopia, I'm thinking of. Jah, I live for your love. Jah, I live for your love. Jah, I live for your
Five minutes to the top of the hour. This is Danai, the edition.
This lover hurt me. This lover hurt. Someone stop trying.
AKA Danai Singleton.
Stop trying. Stop trying. This lover hurt me. I miss a lover hurt. Someone stop trying. Stop trying. Right and over. Stop trying. Stop trying. Stop trying, love. Can't take this again. Turn girl aside, I want to be sad again. Tired forgive and I receive. Tired forget my heart broken into pieces. That's why I stop trying, love. Right I know, bye bye love. Can't take it no more. Tired for love, I fling my on the floor. This lover hurt me. I miss a lover hurt. Someone stop trying, stop trying. Right I know, stop trying, stop trying. Yeah. This lover hurt me. I miss a lover hurt. Someone stop trying, stop trying. Right I know, stop trying, stop trying. Tired being and out of love like a hotel room. But regular me sit and pray just to jump the room. But my feet say love, I go hurt me again. If we itching up in the same room. That's why I must stop trying love. Right now bye bye love. We can't take it no more. Tired for love, I fling my on the floor. This lover hurt me. I miss a lover hurt. Someone stop trying, stop trying. Right now stop trying, stop trying. This lover hurt me. I miss a lover hurt. Someone stop trying, stop trying. Right now stop trying, stop trying. Tired to feel that pain. Make it my heart broken over again. What is love? Them say me don't understand. What is love? Them say me don't understand. So I have to feel my heart feel. What is love? Them say me don't understand. What is love? Them say me don't comprehend. So I forget my heart broken. Why? Lover hurt me. I miss a lover hurt. Someone stop trying, stop trying. Right I know stop trying, stop trying, stop trying love. This lover hurt me. I miss a lover hurt. Someone stop trying, stop trying. Right I know stop trying, stop trying, stop trying love. Can't take this again. Turn girl aside, I want to be sad again. Tired forgive and I receive. Tired forget my heart broken into pieces. That's why I must stop trying love. Right now bye bye love. Me can't take it no more. Tired for love, I fling up on the floor. lover hurt me. I miss a lover hurt. So I'ma stop trying. Right, I know I'ma stop trying, love. This lover hurt me. I miss a lover hurt. So I'ma stop trying. Right, I know I'ma stop trying.
We're gonna take another little break. It's a minute to the top of the hour. When we come back, we see if we can figure out if, since monogamy is natural, does that mean that polyamory is unnatural? We'll be back after these few messages. Call your friends, tell them to come on over. Let's talk. Matthew 28:19 says, "Go ye therefore and teach all nations." With this in mind, and encouragement received during a South Florida media conference, The Church Links was birthed. The Church Links is an interdenominational worship service portal for churches, providing the tools to spread the word through technology in a cost-effective way. The Church Links, www.dahchurchlinx.com, your links to worship and praise.
TMC Music presents the highly anticipated, much talked about, The Juggling Rhythm Volume 1. This classic rhythm takes on a new life with tracks from both established artists and introduces some incredible new voices. Get your dancing shoes ready with The Juggling Rhythm, featuring international reggae dancehall artist Mr. Vegas, alongside Ian Sweetness, Ed Robinson, Jack Radix, Hezron, Dangling, Joanna Marie featuring Galaxy P, Denny Ranks featuring Jawiz, Ambalik, Christine Alicia, Yishka. Also the new sensations on the rhythm: Seal, Danger Lee, Marquis Skellenard, Zachary. Available on all digital media outlets. The Juggling Rhythm. Get it, get it, get it.
When being in the moment is priceless, consider the ability to share that moment. If you can video it, you can broadcast it. And Pulse E-Media Group has the tools you need. Weddings, birthdays, funerals, graduations, church services, parties, seminars, you name it. Pulse E-Media Group can provide you with a secure medium controlled by you to broadcast your event. Contact us at www.pulsemediagroup.com for more information. Pulse E-Media Group, when being in the moment is priceless.
Hi, this is Cara Manti, and you're listening to DJ Kevin Stew, and this is The Night Shift.
Broke your pretty little heart, but you never broke your
Welcome back to the show. It's a night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. Choo choo choo. In the background, the sound of Code Red with lead vocalist, former lead vocalist, Bobby Rose. I want to say thanks to JTMC Enterprise for sponsoring this segment of the show. JTMC will take care of your entertainment needs, your tour management, your bookings, your promotions, social media, event management. All you gotta do is give them a call. 678-793-8800. 678-793-8800. And of course, when you call them and you talk to them, tell them I sent you.
Sometimes I hurt you, but you still give me love.
So, before we get into the question of is polyamory natural or normal? Yeah, I know some of you recognize the fact that I didn't ask, is polygamy natural? And well, I guess we can look at both of them, because here's what it boils down to. Mono versus poly. That's really what it boils down to. But let's differentiate a little bit between polyamory and polygamy. Polyamory, which was virtually unknown, let me see, 20 years ago? Yeah, virtually unknown, has somewhat become a new buzzword. And many people confuse polyamory with polygamy. It's okay. It's not that you did a bad thing. Both are quite unconventional in contemporary Western society. And neither polyamory nor polygamy are practiced by even is familiar to the mainstream. The words are quite similar, each beginning with poly, which is the Greek root word for many. Both terms describe multiple partner relationships, and they each have similarities, but there are also differences. First, technically, polyamory means multiple loves, and polygamy means multiple spouses. Polyamory is a form of consensual non-monogamy with emotionally intimate relationships among multiple people that can also be sexual and or romantic partners. In most common form, polygamy is actually polygyny, in which one man marries multiple women, and in most cases the first wife has the most wifely power, unless one of the subsequent wives bears the first son. Not the first child, the first son. Now, there are a few main ways that polyamory and polygamy are different from each other. First, with gender. The biggest difference between polyamory and polygamy is the gender of the partners. In polyamory, anyone of any gender can have multiple partners. The gender of the person or their partner does not matter. Polygamy is most universally heterosexual, and only one person has multiple spouses of a different gender. The most common form of polygamy, polygyny, is where there's a marriage with one man with multiple wives, multiple women. In polyandry, one woman marries multiple men. Now, for the vast majority of human history, multiple partners meant a man having multiple women, unless a woman was a prostitute. You see the social disparity there? For people who have partners of all genders, regardless of their own gender, which is fairly new, first because so many forms of gender expression have gained visibility over, and more people are expressing gender variance and partnering with gender diverse folks. It is also historically atypical for women to be able to have openly have multiple male partners. The flagrant manizing used to be reversed for, or reserved, sorry, for the very rich and eccentric women or anarchists. But now, even regular women in the West and the North can have more than one man if they're in a polyamorous relationship, or woman, as the case may be. At present, polygyny is usually part of religious cultures that structure elite men's access to multiple wives and provides an outlet to redirect poorer men without women. Two primary religious subcultures practice polygyny in the US. The Muslims, who are mostly African Americans, the Nation of Islam immigrants from Muslim cultures, and a few white converts, and fundamental Latter-day Saints, fundamentalist Mormons, who are almost always white. A few Christian sects in the US also allow men multiple wives. Among adults who have participated in a 20-year study of polyamorous families with children, polyamory is only loosely associated with religion. The majority of the sample had no religious affiliation at all, and some were fairly militantly atheists or rationalists. Religious polyamorists gravitated towards unconventional, accepting, and multiplistic spiritual communities, such as, in descending order, pagans, Unitarians, Universalists, Buddhists, Jewish, and Baha'i. Now, Morning Glory Raven Hart coined the term polyamory in 1990. As a concept or practice, polyamory is currently in its third wave of obscure popularity. During the first wave, utopian feminists and anarchists advocated consensual non-monogamy as a cure for everything from capitalist oppression to men's tyrannical ownership of women. The second wave began with the free love portion of the sexual revolution of the 1960s and 70s, flourishing among hippies, swingers, and disco dancers. Why disco dancers have to be tossed in there? The third wave, which is the current wave, and the largest by far, started with the spread of internet communication. Which is why you'll hear some say that the internet is the devil. Polygamy, on the other hand, has been around ever since people created marriage. Ding, 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 ding. Notable men like Abraham, Jacob, David, and Solomon from the Torah or the Old Testament had multiple wives and did a lot of begetting with them all. Wealthy men have access to multiple women in every society, past and present. And anthropologists and sociologists have identified this to be so. Sometimes this access is thinly veiled by deceit with covert mistresses or commerce with prostitutes. At other times, powerful men's access to multiple women is condoned by religious and state authorities. The fourth way that they're different is that in today, polygamy is most common in the regions of the Middle East and Africa, in which religious customs limit women's access to multiple male partners and condone certain men's access to multiple wives. In some cases, women are also limited to accessing public space or driving, which makes it difficult to go to school or get the kind of work that would allow personal freedom and control over their own lives. Frequently, family members arrange the women's marriages for them in negotiation with their future husband and or his family if he's quite young. So it is likely. Oh, I had missed some comments. I am so sorry. Marlon had said, I think that the numbers are much higher when we're looking at the statistics of monogamy. My observation doesn't support the idea that men cheat more. I agree with you, Marlon. I know that I am naturally monogamous. See? Marlon claims it. So it is likely for those same reasons of access to education and personal freedom that polyamory, as opposed to polygamy, is most popular in areas that allow women greater access to those things. Polyamory is most common in Australia, Canada, the US, and Western Europe, all regions with laws that encode equality between men and women and have high rates of female literacy. So it is the women that are teaching society how to be polyamorous. Depending on the region, which this is the fifth thing that shows the difference between polygamy and polyamory. Social integration. Both polygamy and polyamory face various degrees of marginalization. Polygamy is unremarkable in regions of the Middle East and Africa, and polyamory is relatively blasé among liberals in Seattle, London, Paris, and Stockholm. Everywhere, both are generally viewed as bewildering at minimum, and perhaps even dangerous. Bigamy, being married to 2 or more people at the same time, is illegal in the US and pretty much everywhere else in the world. And while polyamory is not technically illegal, law enforcement officials have threatened some people in polyamorous relationships with prosecution for adultery, even though the relationships are consensual. So, wait, hold on. You are, as a law enforcement officer, going to say that you are going to dictate how my relationship is supposed to go? Where they do that at? Most mainstream polygynous and polyamorous folks in the US live in urban and suburban areas, blending seamlessly into the neighborhoods around them. Because so many people have ex-spouses and new partners with kids from previous marriages, neighbors most likely do not notice the CNM, the consensual non-monogamous relationships that are going on around them. The stereotypes of enormous polygamous families or polygynous families who live in a compound in the desert keep their women from learning to read and arrange marriages between the much older men and 13-year-old wives who are mothers by 14 is true for only a small minority of polygynous families. Now, unfortunately, these families have gotten so much bad press that it has tainted the entire category of polygynous families. The attitude overlooks the ways which polygynous families can benefit some women, especially when the women have access to other options and choose as adults to establish or join in polygynous families. Now, a similar and far less sinister stereotype of polyamorous couples living in a commune in California was true for a slightly larger set of people in the 1960s and 70s, but much less so today. Many people across the world live in shared housing, either with their partners or children or other family members, their friends or even roommates. Polyamorous groupings tend to blend in with that trend of shared housing. And they can have children or not. Residential groupings of 6 or more partners are quite rare, though some polyfamilies with multiple parents and children are actually quite large. And some polyamorous folks live alone, especially those who identify as solo poly and can afford to live by themselves. So there's a whole lot more to it than we actually realize. So is this poly thing natural or unnatural? Because typically poly people are always trying to find ways to combat jealousy. You heard that mentioned when we're looking at how natural monogamy is and why. But people who practice poly relationships, poly-type relationships, are always trying to find a way to beat out jealousy. So maybe the question should be, is jealousy natural? And some would ask, hey, in finding a way to get rid of jealousy, is that conditioning yourself to accept something unnatural? And it's a legit question that is being raised more and more as an objection to polyamory. If being able to function in a relationship requires that you work hard to overcome an emotion like jealousy, doesn't that mean then that you're simply trying to desensitize yourself to a perfectly natural and reasonable feeling? And that polyamory really isn't a natural choice? Quick phone call. Greetings and salutation. Welcome to the show, bro.
DJ Kevin Stew.
Marlon Burrell, music entertainer, reggae music entertainer extraordinaire. Welcome, Bridget.
Yes, sir. Give thanks. Excellent topic as usual.
Thank you. I know it's your favorite night, you know. What's going on?
Yeah, it certainly. Well, I mean, I try. I'm following your findings here and your research.
Yes.
And I'm trying to see where I fit in.
We're having difficulty, Marlon. We're having difficulty because you said at the beginning of the show that you identify monogamous.
Yeah, I am not having difficulty. I am not.
Right.
But I just happen to be learning, the various tiers and different ways to look at things. Now, the thing that why I'm really calling you is whether or not monogamy or being polynormous is natural. And I am going to say that I think it varies from person to person.
And
I think some people are naturally monogamous, and I think I fit in that category.
Mhm.
But others are. I would say most people are naturally polyamorous.
You would say most people are polyamorous?
Naturally.
Really? I would think that the majority of society would say naturally people are monogamous.
I say no because I think monogamy, for many people, monogamy is something that's taught, and we're taught that we're supposed to be. So people, I think, train themselves to be that way.
Right.
Because we're taught that is the correct way, or that's what we should do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, because think about it, when people get into monogamous relationships because they think that's what they're supposed to do, when we look in our society, what do most of those people turn around and do?
What is considered to be cheating?
Correct. Which is really the main basis of my argument.
Right.
Yeah, because if it was so unnatural, then why is it so prevalent?
Valid argument, sir. I can't. It is a valid argument. Because here it is. People are struggling more to not be in a relationship with someone else.
And which is why I believe, well, at least I don't know if we have evolved, but I believe it in these times, in modern day, that's where we are as people. I think most people are naturally polyamorous. They struggle to be monogamous. It's like monogamy is a struggle for most people these days. People find it hard to remain faithful in relationships. And I would go out on a limb and guess that cheating or being unfaithful is the number one cause of relationships ending.
Well, I would hazard to reshape that somewhat. In that, I would say, yes, I believe we are taught to be monogamous, but we are mixing up, I believe also, we're mixing up what promiscuity is and what polyamory is. When I started with giving the definition of polyamory, it's multiple loves. And promiscuity refers more to sex. Being in a polyamorous relationship doesn't necessarily mean that you're in a sexual relationship.
Right. Because I've known of relationships that have ended because one partner had what is classified as an emotional affair where nothing physical took place.
Right. And that relationship probably ended because of lack of communication or lack of understanding of who the people involved in the relationship are. The person who was doing having the emotional affair probably wasn't true to themselves as requiring that additional relationship, and as a result could not relay that to their partner. That's one thought.
And I think that's where, that's where we really are. And I think that's what it boils down to, is that one, a lot of people don't understand themselves, and two, they can't relay that to their partner. And three, what ends up happening is we. So think about it. When one is being unfaithful in a relationship, what they have to hide and they have to.
Everybody ends up miserable.
You have to be deceitful, and when you have to deceive your partner, then you have a problem. And I think that's where one should reach the point where they have to make a decision.
Right.
And where does let me ask you this: where does an open relationship falls into the whole equation? Where would that be classified?
You know, I think an open relationship should be redefined as a truthful relationship, an honest relationship. Because people typically
but can't a monogamous relationship be that?
Yes. And I say that because people typically lean towards saying that an open relationship is one where any member of that relationship can, say, go out and freely have sex with somebody else. Again, it comes back to sex. And having relationships doesn't always mean sex.
Right.
So having an open relationship really, in my opinion, is talking about having an honest relationship and just saying, listen, there is this connection that I have with someone else, but it doesn't mean that I do not love you. Because here's the thing. Here's the thing, and this is where polyamory sits. Poly being multiple and amory, a derivative of the word amor, to love. Here's where that sits. Love is something true, something pure, something giving, something sharing. And if you love someone, you only want to see the best happening to them. You only want the best for them.
Correct.
And basically saying that, in my opinion, saying that polyamory is a fad or just an excuse is to say that one cannot love more than one person at the same time. But we do it every day with our family members. We do it every day with our children. We do it every day with our friends.
Right.
So,
well, the thing is this. That I mean, you know, we can go back to the whole agape versus eros and everything. So,
and philos, yes.
Yeah, and philos. So some people would say that the eros or the philos, you know, should be just one partner, but again, and that's where my feeling lies is that everyone is wired a little differently where that is concerned, and I think the key to the whole thing is, as you alluded to, is for one to be true to themselves about who they are and what they are, and be truthful about that to whoever they get involved with in a relationship.
Now, the other kicker to this, though, is an individual may enter into a relationship with one belief system or feeling one particular way and not recognizing another. And while in that relationship, change. So they could go into a relationship saying, you know, I'm polyamorous. And
yes,
be in that relationship, and their partner would realize after a few years that, wait a minute, I haven't heard of anybody else. You haven't told me of any. Is everything okay? Only to hear, well, you know, I'm not polyamorous anymore. Because
that
people
happens,
evolve.
But what happens exactly? But what the opposite though is what happens more often is that people go into relationships and they're monogamous, and somewhere down the line they discover that they're not, or
because in our society,
they thought they were monogamous and then discover that they're not.
in our society, that is what we know. We know monogamy. Hence, we expect monogamy and we enter into a relationship to be monogamous. So, if in that relationship you come to that realization for whatever reason, then that is what we hear. And remember, the whole term of polyamory is only about 20 years old. Not to say that it didn't exist before that. It's just that they didn't classify it.
It's just the name. They didn't have a name for it.
Right.
It was considered adultery before.
And that leads to another thing, which is probably where we'll end up going with this, and that would be how certain things that we are taught we never questioned ever. And it's not to say that we are rebels and we're looking to cause trouble in anybody's life or to change society or to be opposed to what society says. But we are taught that we're supposed to ask questions if we want to learn. But there are some questions that we just don't ask and we just accept. And
that is true. That is true. I think as a society, we're very guilty of that in many ways.
And I think this is why this show is one of your favorites. Well, this show is your favorite, Because in this
you
show,
answer the questions that are often not even asked.
Well, sometimes we get to the answer. But for the most part, we're asking the question.
Yeah, basically. Or we attempt to get the answers.
Right. And sometimes it will take us a few tries to get an answer, not necessarily the answer.
Correct. Indeed. Because in many cases, there isn't just one answer to any given question.
Right. Stephen Murphy has a show on Saturdays and on Mondays or Tuesdays. Mondays. And on Mondays he has a pastor that comes on. And a few weeks ago they were talking about the side chick.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, wait, hold on. Why does it have to be a side chick and women do the same thing and will have a partner on the side also?
Yeah.
And I did ask the question. So, all right, let's go back to some of the same people mentioned as in tonight's show from the Bible, from the Old Testament, from the Torah. The Solomons and the Davids and the Jacobs and the Abrahams who had multiple wives. And I asked the question, where does it say in the Bible that that's not supposed to be the case?
Right.
Adultery.
And what that tells us is, again, it's mostly societal.
It's what society has taught us to believe because of possibly convenience, maybe. We don't know. But not many of us are asking the questions.
Yeah. That is it. That's why we are where we are right now.
Right. And even with as I was just touching on the point of jealousy just now, people will say, people who practice polyamory trying to find out how to not be jealous because it's and jealousy is a natural thing to do. But aren't the people who are being polyamorous naturally polyamorous? They didn't learn that.
Right.
And jealousy.
That's a good point.
Yeah, jealousy is not only something that affects people who practice polyamory. Monogamous people are jealous too. So is it that
monogamous people are the main practitioners of jealousy?
All right. So then, is it that they're actually monogamous, or is it that they're polyamorous and want to be dominant in that polyamorous relationship?
I think that's what most people want. I think that's what most people want. Most people want to be selfish and say this is a polyamorous relationship, but I am the only one who is polyamorous here. You are not.
Right. But love is not selfish.
There we go. So that begs the question. That begs the question. Where does love fall in the... Because, you know, just having general conversations with people, you know, in the workplace and you know, having social conversations.
Mm-hmm.
I would hear things, and it's not just men that I hear it from, because people tend to think it's only men that do these things.
Right.
But I will hear things like, well, I have one that I love and I have one that I like.
Right. And the one that you like, you probably like them because the one that you love, you don't like.
Oh, you know, I never thought about that part of it.
Oh.
I never thought about
people assume
not
that
liking the one that you love.
People assume that because you love somebody, you're going to like them. I learned recently, and when I say recently, within the last 10 years, that we love our family members. We don't like all of them.
Oh, I learned that very early.
And when I say I learned
that very early.
When I say I learned it, I mean I recognized it. It's not like I didn't experience it. I experienced it. I just didn't recognize it and I didn't accept it. Loving someone doesn't mean that you like them. So you'll hear people make the statements like you just said. I love this one, but I like this one. Because them not like the
But
one
my
I love.
question is this. Do you get into a committed relationship with someone who you don't like?
Good question. Now remember, I can like you today and not like you tomorrow. But I still love you.
Now that happens all the time. That happens on an almost daily basis.
But I still love you.
Yeah.
So
you're right. That happens. That happens. That is so frequent.
So you know, it's when we look at this whole monogamy and polyamory thing. Typically, we are always looking at sex and not the other aspects of the relationship that it encompasses. Now, if sex is as a result of what happens in the relationship, then that's something else. But sex is not the reason for the relationship if you're in a polyamorous relationship.
But there are those who have those. There are those who have polyamorous relationship, and maybe one or more partners is there for that purpose, just sexual connection.
Well, is that polyamory or is that just being promiscuous?
I wouldn't call that being promiscuous if they both agree to it and they know that's what it is.
But if there is no emotion involved, It's not amory. It's not amour. It's not love. Just take a slap and go on.
Yeah, but what happens when you keep taking a slap a couple times a week or however often it is?
It doesn't mean that you're going to fall in love.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That is the essence of my question.
It just means that this is your particular choice of workout routes.
Yeah, but wouldn't that fall somewhere within? I mean, that's a relationship. If it's something that's happening continuously, isn't it not?
It is a sexual one, not necessarily a loving one.
But what about, aren't there those who, let's say, cohabitate and their relationship is basically sexual? The emotional attachment is minimal at best.
Yeah, and that's a convenient one. Remember, Remember, you can have a prostitute on a regular schedule. There are no emotional ties to that prostitute. And prostitute goes both ways, both male or female.
True enough.
There are no emotional ties. Or even the practice of cuddling. There are people that you hire to come and cuddle with you to go to sleep.
I've seen that recently. I was blown away by that.
Yeah, I had reached out to someone who does it professionally to come on my show, and they blew me off. Probably because ABC contacted them too. ABC, whatever. But it's one of the ongoing discussions and a series of ongoing questions that I have. So anybody tuned in, expect that there is more.
Well, you know me. I'll be looking forward to it.
If no other time, I can expect you on a Wednesday.
Definitely. I'm getting my work done and I'm listening, and my brain is stimulated, and what I love about this show is I'm always learning, and you bring up some points that, as I mentioned, I never even think about those angles. So it brings so many other elements into play, and it makes me explore a little bit more.
Well, I'm glad it stimulates some thoughts and questions. And if it brings you that much closer to having acceptance through enlightenment, my job is done.
Well, and it's a job well done, DJ Kevin Stu.
I thank you, sir. Coming from you, that is quite humbling and very much appreciated. All right.
My pleasure, my brother.
So, here what? We're into the time sponsored by the Wake Up and Live show, courtesy of Sir Rockwell and rockthebox.net. That means musical therapy. And I have, 12 minutes of therapy time left.
Oh, wow, that's it?
Yeah.
That would be my fault, wouldn't it?
Sometimes these things happen and we only benefit from it. And
true indeed.
So I thank you for chiming in. The time that you chimed in was the time that you were supposed to.
I hear that, my brother.
So thank you. Much appreciated.
Respect every time.
We'll catch you on Monday at 7. Real Rockers.
Yes, indeed.
All right. Much love, brethren.
All right. Much love every time.
So, it's musical therapy time. And there you have it. For tonight. Where will this take us come next week? We'll find out sooner or later. I'm always open Open to questions, open to responses. Again, this is judgment free. We're trying to have acceptance through enlightenment. And the only way we can have enlightenment is to ask questions, to explore. And the more knowledgeable we become, the more acceptable. It doesn't mean that you condone something if you accept it. It just means that you have a greater understanding of it. Yeah?
It's urgent. Too many serpents simply can't wait any longer. Whoa. Unity forever. Brothers and sisters, these are dangerous times. If there's ever a time when it's crucially needed, it's now. Cause morality, decency, and honesty are out the window. Discrimination, lies, and deception seems to be the new norm this time. And only one thing can save us from their confusion and crimes. Yeah, talking about love, love, that human beings need enough of.
10 minutes to the top of the hour.
To end insanity, give back humanity. It's life.
The son of Kashif Lindo.
Sweet love, love. Welcome to our
The track is called Love, Love.
They're turning wrong
On the all night till daylight rhythm.
it's called in strife. The wicked is emboldened, it's unfolding in front of very eyes. They're embracing hatred while ignoring when it's starving. Baby cries, eyes. It's like a nightmare and they're driving home the fear much more than before. And only one thing that can push them out and close the door, yeah. Talk about love, love, that human beings need enough of. To end insanity, give back humanity. It's life, sweet love, love. One come to our rescue. They're turning wrong into right, truth into lies, called in strife. Racism is rampant, nowadays blatant, as if there's a green light. Abuse is constant, justice not important. We've been stripped of our rights. Corruption, division, cruel decisions now accepted. And this time, one perfect solution in this climate of pollution and crimes. Talking about love, love, that human beings need enough of. To end insanity, give back humanity. It's life, sweet love, love. Run, come to our rescue. They're turning wrong into right, truth into lies, called in strife. If there's ever a time that is needed, it's now. Peace, love, and unity is urgent. Without you, push them out. Push them out, push them out, push them out. Yeah, talk about love, love, that human beings need enough of.
You've been searching.
To end insanity, give back
We've been searching.
Tell her I am.
You never know that I would find that path from your heart leads to your mind. Seep into your soul and made you mine. That's the way I approach. I am that kind. It's funny. I made the rules your friend.
You better know that.
I'm like Eros, lovely story. So prepare for love's in story. Yeah. I know that this this day would come, that you and I would be as one. My moon, you can call me your sun. United, our time has begun. It's funny, funny.
From your thoughts, me tell you what to do, know what you want. Show where your sorrows, know you are love. Happiness you want because you win on me trance. Strong kind of love with a little romance. Real man you have and know your life are enhance. Me of the family, the real love science. Destiny baby I don't never by chance.
Eros loves me story.
And that is real.
Know that I would find that path from your.
The sound of Tanto, Metro, and Devante.
I seep into your soul and made you mine.
Track called Like Eros.
I approach, I am that kind. It's funny.
I want to thank you each and everyone for tuning in this week. Yeah, this is how I bounce out. I got one more for you though. But before I go into it, I want to remind you to become for members of your community. And your community is not just the development that you live in, but it spreads far and wide.
On another level.
And as you go on your travels, whether you walk, ride, or drive, on the bus, on the plane, on the boat, on the train, people that you pass, these are all members of your community. So do something nice for one of them today, because you never know who's going to do something nice for you tomorrow. My name is DJ Kevin Stewart. This is how I like to do it, to you, for you, and with you. And as always, I want to encourage you to be good. But if you can't be good, be good at it.
I would find that path from your heart leads to your mind. I seep into your soul and made you mine. That's the way I approach, I am that kind. It's funny, I made the rules your friend.
There's nothing that could keep me away, my love.
Told you I had one more for you.
The heat of the fire, my love.
This is Christine Alicia.
Should you doubt what
It's called Like Eros. Don't lie.
the time to ease your mind?
It's called Key Lock. Tanto, Metro, and Devante before that with Like Eros.
Waits for you. This is the key lock. Lock me in your eyes, store. Turn the doorknob. Shut me in forevermore. This is true love. No denying it.
Remember Sir Rockwell tomorrow morning at 7. Wake up and live show.
In your eyes, door. Shut me in forevermore.
Y'all take care.
Denying it's for sure.
Enjoy the strong end. All being well. I'm back on Monday. Community and Finance Night right after Real Rockers with Marlon Burrell. Remember to catch Melissa Lady's song. Well, she doesn't use Lady Song anymore. Melissa Jane on melissajane.com for the Melissa Jane Show.
In my hand, laid it all out for you, so you could see the plan. You're not sure now. This I understand. Like oh, I'll catch you, and you will know. And just like a lyric and a reggae rhythm, we'll ride together, keep it locked and make them sing. You'll see the flow of unity, escape the cares of this world. Wish that you could see. Lock me in your heart's door. Shut me in forevermore. True love.
dancehall celebrity picking up DJ Kevin and the maddest DJ in town, you know. Kick it like a ball, ED says so, it goes so.
There's nothing more that you can do or nothing that you have to prove. Oh, Jano, I'm telling you, I'm here to stay. Tell me what I say. There's nothing that could keep me away, my love. In the dark of the night, or the heat of the fire, my love.
When being in the moment is priceless, consider the ability to share that moment. If you can video it, you can broadcast it. And Pulse E-Media Group has the tools you need. Weddings, birthdays, funerals, graduations, church services, parties, seminars, you name it. Pulse E-Media Group can provide you with a secure medium controlled by you to broadcast your event. Contact us at www.pulsemediagroup.com for more information. Pulse E-Media Group, when being in the moment is priceless.